Session of axilla with mind map. In this session we will be discussing about axillary group of lymph nodes. There are 5 groups of axillary lymph nodes. They are anterior or pectoral group, posterior or subscapular group, lateral or humeral group, central and apical. Now the anterior or the pectoral group, it is 3 to 5 in number and it lies along the lateral thoracic vein as well as the inferior border of pectoralis minor muscle. The afferents are coming from the subareolar plexus and that is under the nipple and areolar region, areola of breast and upper outer quadrant of breast. The efferent lymphatics are going to the central group of lymphatics, central group of nodes. The posterior or the subscapular group of lymph nodes, they are 6 to 7 in number and they lie along the posterior axillary fold and subscapular vessels. Afferents are coming from the posterior thoracic wall and scapular region. When I am saying afferents, the draining area, and where it goes, the lymphatics from the posterior group goes to central group of nodes. Now the lateral or humeral group, they are 4 to 6 in number and they lie in the lateral wall of axilla. Drain the entire upper limb and drains into, the efferents are going to the central group of nodes. Now the central group of nodes, 3 to 4 in number, they lie at the base of the axilla deep to pectoralis minor muscle. And the afferents are coming from all these 3 groups and efferents are going to apical group of nodes. Now the apical group lies at the apex of the axilla. The afferents are coming from the central group of nodes, which in turn includes the afferents from the anterior, posterior and lateral group. Now the efferents are forming subclavian lymphatic trunk. So that is about the different groups of axillary lymph nodes. The applied anatomy, in case of any infection in the upper limb, lymphangitis, that is inflammation of lymphatic vessels, can occur. In that the lymph nodes become tender and inflamed. The number of lymph nodes involved, based on that we can stage the breast cancer. Lymphedema of upper limb occurs after lymphadenectomy, that is removal of lymph nodes. Injury during lymphadenectomy, there is possibility of injury to long thoracic nerve. So that is about the axillary group of lymph nodes, which is very much important in breast cancer. And this is the diagram showing the different groups of lymph nodes. This is the lateral group, the anterior group, posterior group. All these 3 together drains into, all these 3 groups drain into the central group of lymph nodes. From the central group it drains into apical group. From the apical, some are passing through the supraclavicular nodes and some are directly and forming the subclavian lymphatic trunk. Brachial plexus. Brachial plexus is the plexus of nerves to supply the upper limb muscles. There are 3 types of formation. One is normal type, second is prefixed type, third is postfixed type. In any type of brachial plexus formation, there will be 5 spinal nerves involved. Now we'll see the normal type of formation. In normal type, the nerves are contributing the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th cervical spinal nerves and the first thoracic spinal nerve. So the ventral rami of C5, C6, C7 and C8 and plus the T1 spinal nerves. In prefix type of formation, it starts from C4 and T1 is absent. So C4 to C8, that is prefixed. If it is formed postfix, it will be formed by C6 to T2. So C5 will be absent. So C6 to T2 is the postfix and prefixed is C4 to C8. Now the parts. Parts are roots, trunks, divisions, cords and branches. Now the roots, trunks are lying above the clavicle. The divisions are occurring behind the clavicle. The cords and branches are infraclavicular. Roots are the C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1, that is ventral rami. Then the trunks. So roots are 5 in number, trunks are 3 in number, upper trunk, middle trunk, lower trunk. Upper trunk is formed by C5 and C6, middle trunk is formed by C7, lower trunk is formed by C8 and T8. Now the third part is the divisions. So each trunk will divide into 2 divisions, anterior division and posterior division. Each trunk will divide into anterior division and posterior division. Now the cords. There are 3 cords: the lateral cord, posterior cord, medial cord. The lateral cord is formed by the anterior division of the upper trunk and middle trunk. The medial cord is formed by the anterior division of lower trunk. The posterior cord is formed by posterior division of upper trunk, middle trunk and lower trunk. Now the branches. The branches are from the respective cords. The lateral cord has 3 branches. Branches we can divide into supraclavicular and infraclavicular. Supraclavicular branches are coming from the roots and upper trunk. From the root, dorsal scapular nerve C5, it supplies the rhomboides major, minor and levator scapulae. Long thoracic nerve from C5, C6 and C7. This supplies the serratus anterior muscle. This nerve is also called nerve of Bell. Now from the root, from the upper trunk, there is suprascapular and nerve to subclavius. Suprascapular nerve supply the supraspinatus, infraspinatus and also it gives a branch to the shoulder joint. Nerve to subclavius supply the subclavius muscle. Other supraclavicular branches, C5 also contribute to the formation of phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve is formed by C3, 4, 5. Also the roots are giving out muscular branches to longus colli muscle. Now about the infraclavicular branches. Infraclavicular branches are the branches from the specific cords. Lateral cord, there are 3 nerves, L, M, M. This L stands for lateral pectoral nerve, M stands for musculocutaneous nerve and the other M stands for lateral root of median nerve. So the musculocutaneous nerve supply the anterior compartment of arm muscles, that is biceps brachii, brachialis and coracobrachialis. Lateral pectoral nerve supply the pectoral muscles, that is pectoralis minor and major. The lateral root of median nerve forms the along with the medial root, it forms the median nerve. Now the branches from the medial cord. Medial cord 4MU. The 4 M's are medial pectoral nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, the medial root of median nerve and U stands for ulnar nerve. So these are the branches from the medial cord. Now the branches from the posterior cord, 5 in number. They are short form is ultra. Ultra stands for U. L stands for upper subscapular and lower subscapular, which supply the subscapular muscle. Subscapularis muscle. The T stands for thoracodorsal, that supply the latissimus dorsi muscle. R is radial nerve, and the A is axillary nerve. Axillary nerve supply the deltoid and teres minor muscle. Radial nerve all the extensor group of muscles. So that is all about the branches. Now the applied anatomy, we have the upper trunk injury, upper part of brachial plexus injury, and lower part of brachial plexus injury. The upper part of brachial plexus, it's mainly concerned with the Erb's point. Erb's point is formed by 6 nerves. Which are the 6 nerves? The C5 root, C6 root, the anterior division, posterior division, and the 2 branches coming out from the upper trunk, the suprascapular nerve and nerve to subclavius. So this point is the Erb's point. Now what happens to injury when there is injury to Erb's point? It is called Erb-Duchenne paralysis. Erb-Duchenne paralysis. This is due to stretching or avulsion in the upper part of the brachial plexus. Now this is mainly due to fall from a height or birth injury. So there is increased angle between the neck and the shoulder. So that causes the avulsion or stretching of the upper part of brachial plexus. Now we will see the position of the arm. That peculiar position is called waiter's tip or policeman tip hand. In this, the arm will be adducted at shoulder joint. So the movement affected is abduction. Abduction is lost. The muscles paralyzed are supraspinatus and deltoid. These are the abductors of shoulder joint. Now the arm will be medially rotated. So lateral rotation is not taking place. The muscles involved infraspinatus and teres minor. The elbow will be extended. So that means flexion of elbow is affected. The muscles involved biceps brachii and brachialis. The forearm will be pronated. So the supination is affected. Muscle involved is muscle paralyzed, biceps brachii. Now the wrist will be flexed and fingers also. That means extension is affected. So muscle involved are extensors of wrist and fingers. So this is about the Erb-Duchenne paralysis. Now the second one is Klumpke paralysis. Klumpke's paralysis is due to injury to the lower part of the brachial plexus, especially the lower trunk. Lower trunk means C8 and T1. So this occurs when a person falls from a height and tries to grasp on something to break the fall. So there will be increased stretching between the trunk and the arm, that is hyper abducted arm. So there is stretching of the lower part of the brachial plexus is taking place. This is called Klumpke's paralysis. In this, the deformity is Clohan. In Clohan, there is hyperextension at the wrist joint and hyperextension at the metacarpophalangeal joint. Metacarpophalangeal joint means the joint between the fingers and the palm. The fingers will be flexed. That means hyperflexion at the interphalangeal joints. The digits will be flexed. Now there will be another accompanying feature there, that is called Horner's syndrome. Horner's syndrome is because the T1 is also giving out sympathetic fibers. That the thoracic spinal segments are giving out sympathetic fibers. So these T1, the fibers from T1 is affected, so there is Horner's syndrome. This include partial ptosis, that is drooping of eyelid, meiosis means constriction of pupil, anhidrosis means absence of sweating on the affected side of face, and there is in ophthalmosis. In ophthalmosis means sunken eyes. So these are the features of Klumpke's paralysis. So brachial plexus, you need to know the formation, the parts, then the branches, supraclavicular branches, infraclavicular branches, the applied anatomy, and one diagram, a symbol diagram like this. That is all about the brachial plexus. Thank you for listening.